Hello all, I'm really happy to welcome you all to this video. Let me introduce myself. I'm Vijayakumar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce, Nehru Arts and Science College, and I'm handling managerial economics for second BCom. And in this video, we're going to discuss about what is in the economics and what are the different steps taken for decision making in managerial economics. So the learning outcome or the learning objective of this topic is you can understand what are the different steps involved in decision making, how to select a best solution for a problem, and what are the things to be noted while taking a decision to a problem. So the different steps involved in making a decision in managerial economics are: the first one is defining the problem or identifying the problem. So that is the first step of making a solution to any issues or any problems, or identifying the best idea for implementing new things. So first of all, we need to define what is to be done and where we need to implement our ideas, or what is to be resolved. So first of all, we need to identify what is our problem to be solutionated. And second one is determining the objective, and third one is finding the alternatives and forecasting the consequences and opportunities of such alternatives and selecting the best alternative to implement. And final step is implementing such alternatives to solutionate the problem. So let us discuss one by one. So the first of all, we must know about what is in the economics. So the concept economics is derived from a Greek word, and which means oikos and namos. So oikos means house and namos means management. So house management it studies how people produce product and how do they spend their income for procuring such products and services. So in other words, we can say that how people are doing their expenses for satisfying their needs. So here the satisfaction is up to the level of income of the customer. If an income of a customer is more, the customer will go for number of purchases or more number of purchases. If the income is very less, the customer will do only a small number of purchases. So the purchasing capacity is based on the earnings capacity of the customer. So the economic studies how people are producing the product and how they are consuming it. So such study is called as economics. So here in simple we can say that economics is the study of how the scarce resources are being effectively consumed by the customers, which means less number of wastages, and the product is produced based on the capacity of the customer. Whether the customer is capacity to procure only for this price, the product should be offered for that price only, otherwise the customer will not procure that. So economics is the study of how a product is being produced and how the product is being consumed by the customer, and such study is called as economics. The meaning of managerial economics: it applies tools and techniques. Managerial economics means the managerial activities has been carried out in any company for improving the economic condition of the company. So the managerial economics is the different types of activities is being carried out for improving the economic condition of the company, and such study is called as managerial economics. So for preparing the plan and forecasting the future plan, we are using some tools and techniques to predict the future or forecast the future, or we are for assessing the present and past records, we need to apply some tools and techniques to know the trend, to know the improvement of the company. So we are using some methods or some statistical formulas for identifying what is the trend of the company. So managerial economics is using some statistical formula or some psychological approaches to identify what is the company is actually is moving forward. So it will help the company to implement some strategies if the company is being deviated from its objective, and such strategy will help the company to come back to achieve their objectives. So in general, managerial economics uses the methods and formulas and statistical tools to assess the past and present record and predicting the future of the business. So that is called as managerial economics. So in the first step of decision making in managerial economics is identifying the problem. So first we need to define what is the nature of the problem and on what basis the problem has been arised, and it is a man-made problem or it is a natural problem. So we need to identify what is the nature of the problem and where the problem has been arised. So we need to identify where the problem is being started and what are the different factors which influencing the managerial functions of the company. So after identifying this, only we can go for next step for solution finding. So first step is identifying the problem behind what are the reasons. What are the reasons behind the problem? So that is the first step of decision making. And second step is defining the objective. What I am going to implement for this problem. Whether I am going to improve the profit of the company, whether I am going to reduce the cost of the company, or what is my objective towards such problem, we need to define it. So second step is defining what I am going to implement for the problem. So it is a process of setting a goal or objective against the problem. What is my solution or what is my expected solution towards such problem? And this is the second step in decision making. And third step is finding the alternatives. So a problem have n number of solutions. So we need to identify different alternatives. What are the possible solutions to overcome such problem or overcome such issue? So we are identifying different possibility to solve such issues. So that is the third step in decision making. And the fourth step is very most important, because we are assessing each alternative, because every alternative has its own pros and cons. So its own positive as well as negative sides. So we are evaluating which alternative will be most suitable to satisfy the maximum sides of the problem. So whenever we are taking a decision, the decision should not affect any of the dependent. So any solution should not affect any persons who are associated with that problem. So we need to consider every aspects of the problem, and nobody should not be get disturbed out of our decision making. So we need to evaluate all the alternative, and we need to identify what are the different positives and negatives of such alternative, and through that only we can able to select the best alternative for the solution. And selecting the best alternative. So after evaluating all the alternatives, and we will be coming to the picture, some alternative may be the most suitable alternative for solutionating the problem. So we are selecting such alternative to implement. So last step is implementing the solution, and we are implementing such solution into the real life situation. After implementing, we need to obtain or observe the outcome of such solution, whether it is improving in the gradual way or improving in the negative way. So after identifying that, if we identified anything is been negative out of our decision making, a new strategy will be implemented and for overcoming such problems. So the last step is implementing the alternative and observing whether our decision is okay and it is not suffering anybody. And if it has been harmful or if it has been suffering anybody, we need to implement some strategies to overcome such issues. So this is the last step in decision making in managerial economics. And the summary of this topic is, so every problem, the first step will be what is the problem or where the problem has been arised. And we need to select the best alternatives because there are number of alternatives to solutionate the problem, but anyhow we need to select the most appropriate alternatives to solutionate the problem. And the next thing is, after selecting the alternative, we need to implement and we need to observe the consequences and the positives of the implementation. If there is any consequences is been faced, and such consequences will be resolved with implementation of new plans or strategies. And points to remember. So the first point to remember is defining the problem clearly and differentiate the different solutions to the problem. So different alternatives, what is the nature of alternative comparing to other, and each alternative is being individually compared to the real life situation, whether it can be implemented in real life situation or it cannot be implemented in real life situation. And after comparing or after evaluating such alternatives, we need to select the best or most appropriate course of action or alternative to implement. After the implementation, we need to conduct the post review of such implementation, whether it is going right way or wrong way. So if any deviations are found, we need to correct with necessary actions. So this is what the different steps involved in taking a decision in managerial economics. And these are all the subjects or the links what I was referred for identifying the steps.